Jimmy Carter actually said, if we want to drive station wagons, gas guzzlers, of course, back then it was station wagons. There were no SUVs per se. If we want to keep driving gas guzzling station wagons, we have to go into the Middle East. We have to disrupt their society. We have to disrupt their politics. And we have to destabilize the entire region and keep it destabilized until we're done taking their oil, till they're completely out of oil. Mm-hmm. You know what we call that today in the DOD? The Carter Doctrine. We still call it the Carter Doctrine because it was his, and it wasn't his idea to do it. His point was, we don't want to do this, but this is what we would have to do, hypothetically, if we wanted to keep using oil forever. And Reagan came in and said, fucking great idea. And he was like, no, that's not an idea. Oh, shit. And that was it, man. We ran with it. We took the fucking solar panels off the top of the White House the first day that Reagan was president. And we said, yeah, fuck solar. We're going oil, baby. And all we got to do is kill a bunch of Arabs to get it. How hard is that? They don't even have nearly the weapons we do. And that was it.
We also went to war. We brought Saddam Hussein, and we actually were friends with
Saddam
him.
Was our boy.
Yeah.
So was the Taliban.
We used the Taliban against the Russians, right? So
get this. The Taliban, one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And please look this up. If you go on YouTube and you look up Taliban at the White House, the leaders of the Taliban came and they met with all of the, you know, all of the heads of whatever, you know, pick somebody, but specifically Donald Rumsfeld, Secretary of Defense. They shook his hand and, you know, I've got all the pictures and everything. And then Donald Rumsfeld talks about how the Taliban is now completely and firmly in charge of Afghanistan, and we're going to.
And they're just sitting there with him in a picture, like, yeah, you know, absolutely. All they're missing is the rifle, right?
Right, and so he says, "I'd like to introduce the head of the Taliban's, basically their PR group." The guy comes up. And he says his little spiel about how he's looking forward to working with the United States. And a reporter asked him a question about, you know, the sort of the track record. And he says, you know, you know the spiel. Look, first of all, Islam is a religion of peace. And now that we've established a caliphate that can last for 1,000 years, there's no reason for us to have any issues or any violence. And, you know, we have very strict laws, but as long as you understand these laws, there's no issues. Like, it's going to be a beautiful country and you're more than welcome to see it. Come and see it. And then a woman stands up in the back, a woman reporter, and she says, well, what about your terrible, abuse of women and how you have, you know, women have no rights and girls have no rights and child marriages. And the guy looks at her and he says, your husband clearly doesn't beat you enough. And the room goes fucking silent.
Wait, is this a real video? Or
it's a real video. He literally says to this woman reporter, clearly, your husband does not beat you enough. And I went, oh my God, this is fucking classic. Thank you. Thank you, God. This is perfect. This explains the motherfuckers we do business with. And whose idea was it to jump in the sack with the fucking Taliban? The CIA. Now, what was the only problem we had with the Taliban? We only had one real problem with them. They went in and they started threatening farmers and saying, you got to stop growing poppies. You can't grow fucking poppies. You got to grow something else. Doesn't matter what. Grow whatever you want, but don't grow poppies or we'll cut your fucking head off. And they did. Poppy production in Afghanistan, the number one place in the world for poppies, dropped to 0 instantly. Well, that's a problem.
For the U.S.
Oh, and for Europe. Because would you rather have junkies doing real heroin, you know, the good stuff, or would you rather have them doing synthetic shit that could kill them? Well, personally, I mean, look, if I'm doing heroin, I'm doing the real good stuff. I haven't yet, but if I ever do, I'm not fucking around with that synthetic crap. I'm going straight for the good stuff, you know. Give me the organic shit because it's better for you. So poppy production dropped to zero. Now, there was a guy who was supposed to do a report for the CIA. He goes to Afghanistan a couple years after we get there, and all hell breaks loose, right? And we're freeing Afghanistan. We're going to bomb them all the way to freedom. He gets there, and his job is to find out what the deal is with poppy production. So he tells the guys on the ground, take me to this province. And they said, no. We're not taking you up there. Oh, it's too dangerous. He said, look, as whatever he was, as a public servant, he's like a GS-22 or some shit. So he's way up there. His rank, if you translate it into the military, his rank would be a lieutenant general. Now, all the guys in the military know this. So he says, look, I'm a fucking lieutenant general. You will take me to this province. And they were like, oh, fuck. All right. So they take him up there. Everybody's like, look, it's really dangerous here. And he goes, okay, sure, no problem. They're out in the Jeep cruising around. He says, stop here. I want to talk to that farmer. No. Oh, my God. If you talk to that farmer, by the time we get back to the Jeep, we'll all be dead. He says, yeah, all right. Let me talk to this farmer now. So they stop the Humvee, and he gets out. He goes over to the farmer, and he says, listen, I noticed you're growing poppies. Lots and lots, acres and acres of poppies. And the guy, this old man goes, hey, now wait a minute. Your guys told me when they got here a couple of years ago that as long as I was willing to turn over the Taliban names to them, I could do this. And he goes, I'm sorry, what did you just say? And the guy, his handler, goes, yeah, we're under imminent danger of an attack at this point. We got to go. And he literally grabs him and walks him back to the Humvee. And the CIA analyst is like, what the fuck did he just tell me? He just said that the Americans told him that if he was willing to cooperate with them, he could grow as many poppies as he wanted. Mm-hmm. Oh. Smells like CIA again, doesn't it?